Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. We'll start. Hare Krishna, Lalit Mohan Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Hare Krishna, Lavanya, Dhanavad Pranam. All Guru, Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. We'll start. Devotees, they can join whenever it's okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukhakarati Vachalam Pangulam Gayatri Kripatamaham Mande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram Om Pavitra Pavitro Sarvavasangatopiva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sabhakyabhyantaram Suchi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. So we are reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, chapter 18. We are at this particular paragraph. I'm gonna share here. We'll continue reading. Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji, and Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So how is everything, Mataji?
Good Prabhuji.
So how is your daughter, right?
Yeah.
So how is she? How old is she now?
So 6 months.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for joining, Mataji, after a long time. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
We'll start. I'll read some of the paragraphs and go over to you. This is chapter 18 of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita 1. It is breaking the ground. That's what it is, right? So breaking ground. It's a big chapter. So we are here at this point. Yeah. We shall call our society ISKCON. Prabhupada had laughed playfully when he first coined the acronym. He had initiated the legal work of incorporation that spring, while still living on the Bowery. Some message I got. Okay, Mate, no problem. But even before its legal beginning, he had been talking about his International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And so it had appeared in letters to India, and in the village wise. A friend had suggested a title that would sound more familiar to Westerners, International Society for God Consciousness. But Prabhupada had insisted Krishna consciousness. God was vague term. God was a vague term. Krishna was exact and scientific. God consciousness was spiritually weaker, less personal. And if Westerners didn't know that Krishna was God, then the International Society for Krishna Consciousness would tell them by spreading his glories in every town and village. Krishna consciousness was Prabhupada's own rendering of a phrase from Sri Rupa Goswami's Padyavali, written in the 16th century. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita. To be absorbed in the mellow taste of executing devotional service to Krishna. But to register ISKCON legally as a non-profit, tax-exempt religion required money and a lawyer. Carl Jens had already gained some experience in forming religious, political, and social welfare groups. And when he had met Prabhupada on the Bowery, he had agreed to help. He had contacted his lawyer, Stephen Goldsmith. Stephen Goldsmith, a young Jewish lawyer with a wife and 2 children and an office on Park Avenue, was interested in spiritual movements. When Carl told him about Prabhupada's plans, he was immediately fascinated by the idea of setting up a religious corporation for an Indian Swami. He visited Prabhupada at 26 Second Avenue, and they discussed incorporation, tax exemption, Prabhupada's immigration status, and Krishna consciousness. Mr. Goldsmith visited Prabhupada several times. Once he brought his children, who liked the soup the Swami cooked. He began attending the evening lectures, where he was often the only non-hippie member of the congregation. One evening, having completed all the legal groundwork and being ready to complete the procedures for incorporation, Mr. Goldsmith came to Prabhupada's lecture and Kirtana to get signatures from the trustees for the new society. Haribol. Over to you now. Yeah. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll start reading. Lalit Mohan Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dhanatma.
Pranam Prabhu.
July 11th, Prabhupada is lecturing. Mr. Goldsmith, wearing slacks and shirt and tie, sits on the floor near the door, listening earnestly to the lecture. Despite the distracting noises from the neighborhood, Prabhupada has been explaining how scholars mislead innocent people with non-devotional interpretations of Bhagavad Gita. And now, in recognition of the attorney's respectable presence, and as if to catch Mr. Goldsmith's attention better, he introduces him into the subject of the talk.
Continue.
Yeah, Prabhupada speaking. I will give you a practical example of how things are misinterpreted. Just like our president, Mr. Goldsmith, he knows that expert lawyers, by interpretation, can do so many things. When I was in Calcutta, there was a rent tax passed by the government, and some expert lawyers changed the whole thing by his interpretation. The government had to reenact a whole law because their purpose was foiled by the interpretation of this lawyer. So, we are not out for foiling the purpose of Krishna, for which the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. But unauthorized persons are trying to foil the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, that is unauthorized. All right, Mr. Goldsmith, you can ask anything. Mr. Goldsmith stands, and to the surprise of the people gathered, he makes a short announcement asking for the signers on an incorporation document for the Swami's new religious movement. Prabhupada. Prabhu, can I read now?
Read, Prabhu, until this.
Okay. Prabhupada, they are present here. You can take the address now. Mr. Goldsmith, I can take them, yes? I can take them now? Yes. Okay, I can take them now? Yes. Prabhupada, yes, you can. Bill, you can give your address. And Raphael, you can give yours. And Don, Roy, Mr. Green. As the meeting breaks up, those called on to sign as trustees come forward, standing around in the little storefront, waiting for the relief. Cursorily through the pages the lawyer has produced from his thin attaché, and to sign as he directs, yet not a soul among them is committed to Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Lavanya, go ahead. Vani Mata, Hare Krishna. Okay, Lavanya, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita ki jai. Mr. Goldsmith met his quota of signers, a handful of sympathizers with enough reverence toward the Swami to want to help him. The first trustees who will hold office for a year until the first annual meeting of the corporation are Michael Grant, who puts down his name and address without ever reading the document, Mike's girlfriend Jan, and James Green. No one seriously intends to undertake any formal duties as trustee of the religious society, but they are happy to help the Swami by signing his fledgling society into legal existence. According to law, a second group of trustees will assume office for the second year. They are Paul Gardiner, Roy, and Don. The trustees for the third year are Carl Jurgens, Bill Epstein, and Raphael. None of them know exactly what the half a dozen legal size type pages mean, except that Swamiji is forming a society. Why? For tax exemption, in case someone gives a big donation, and for other benefits an official religious society might receive.
Continue.
But these purposes hardly seem urgent or even relevant to the present situation. Who is going to make donations, except maybe for Mr. Goldsmith, who has any money? But Prabhupada is planning for the future, and he is planning for much more than just tax exemptions. He is trying to serve his spiritual predecessors and fulfill the scriptural prediction of spiritual movement that is to flourish for 10,000 years in the midst of age of Kali. Within the vast Kali age, a period which is last 432,000 years, 432,000 years, in 1960s are but an insignificant movement.
Very good. Thank you very much. Vani Mata, Hare Krishna. Okay, I'll continue. The Vedas.
Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Read.
Yeah. The Vedas describe that the time of the universe revolves through a cycle of 4 seasons or yugas, and Kali Yuga is the worst of times, in which all spiritual qualities of men diminish until humanity is finally redirected to a bestial civilization devoid of human decency. However, the Vedic literature foretells a golden age of spiritual life, beginning after the advent of Lord Chaitanya and lasting for 10,000 years, an eddy that runs against the current of Kali Yuga. With a vision that soars off to the end of the millennium and beyond, yet with his 2 feet solidly on the ground of Second Avenue, Prabhupada had begun an international society for Krishna consciousness. He has many practical responsibilities, paying the rent, incorporating his society, and paving the way for the thriving worldwide congregation of devotees. Yet he doesn't see his humble beginning as limiting the greater scope of his divine mission. He knows that everything depends on Krishna, so whether he succeeds or fails is up to the Supreme. He has only to try.
Continue.
The purpose The purposes stated within ISKCON's article of incorporation reveal Prabhupada's thinking. There were 7 points, similar to those given in the prospectus of the League of Devotees he formed in Jhansi, India in 1953. That attempt had been unsuccessful, yet his purpose remained unchanged. 7 purposes of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
మత ఆగండి, ఇంకా ఒక్కొక్కటి చదువుదాం సో దట్ అవేర్నెస్ యాక్టివ్ ఉంటాం. ఓకే, సో ఒక్కొక్కటి చదువుతాను. నేను ఒకటి చదువుతాను, మీరు ఒకరు, లావణ్య, లలిత, ఒకటి. 7
Should I
purposes.
read the first one, Prabhuji?
What is
Should
that?
I read the first one? Then Chaduna first one.
చదవండి సార్. ఓకే.
To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all peoples in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మాతాజీ. ఇంత చక్కగా ఎంత ముద్దుగా రాశాడు. So systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all peoples in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and achieve real unity and peace in the world. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Second one, to propagate a consciousness of Krishna as it is revealed in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Lavanya, go ahead. See.
Yeah. To bring the members of the society together with each other and near to Krishna, the prime entity, thus to develop the idea within the members and humanity at a large, that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of the Godhead, that is Krishna.
Very good. D. Lalit Mahaprabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. To teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy name of the God, as revealed in the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
E.
Thank
To
you.
erect for the members and for society at large a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Krishna. మీరు చదవండి ప్రభు.
వాళ్ళని చదవండి బ్రో, ఇంకా ఉన్నారు కదా.
ఎవరు లేదు, 44 ఉన్నాడు.
సరే, ఓకే. To bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of life.
అదే మీ నేచురల్ వే ఆఫ్ లైఫ్ అండ్ సింపుల్ లివింగ్ అండ్ ఐ థింకింగ్ one person if simple living and one person if having 1 acre or 2 acres of land, 2-3 cows, that's it, self-sustained.
Done.
Okay. No need to go to aeroplane, no need to go to airplane station. G. Lavanya, go ahead, read last one. Very important. G ఇంకా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్.
With a view, yeah, చెప్పండి.
And ideas, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada's ideas. What a pure devotees thinks to save, fallen conditioned souls. And, this movement and the institution, these 7 purposes, actually, 10 offenses laga, we have to have by heart even. 10 offenses laga, 7 purposes of ISKCON. Yeah, like G point is very important. Read it.
With a view towards achieving the aforementioned purposes to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, and books and other writings.
Right.
Yeah.
పర్ఫెక్ట్ ప్రభు. మొత్తం అంటే ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్ లో చూడండి, యాక్చువల్లీ హార్మోనీ టు ద హోల్ వరల్డ్.
పీస్. అదే అసలు యాక్చువల్లీ ఇదే ప్రభు.
పీస్ ఫార్ములా అదే కదా, పీస్ ఫార్ములా.
Yeah, Bhaktaram Eketa Pasam. That's what it is, Yes, thank you, devotees. So we'll continue again. I'm going to read something and I will ask devotees. So let me continue. Regardless of what ISKCON's charter members thought of the society's purposes, Prabhupada saw them as imminent realities. As Mr. Ruben, the subway conductor, సబ్వే అంటే అది మెట్రో అనమాట. ఇప్పుడు ఇండియాలో మెట్రో ఎట్లుంటుందో, ఈ న్యూయార్క్ సిటీలో సబ్వే అంటే అండర్ గ్రౌండ్ మెట్రో అనమాట. ఇట్స్ వెరీ వెరీ బిగ్ మెట్రో. దాదాపుగా ఒక 40-45 లైన్స్ ఉంటాయి. బోలెడ్ ట్రైన్లు ఎప్పుడంటే అప్పుడు 24/7 నడుస్తూనే ఉంటాయి. సో దిస్ సిటీ యాక్చువల్లీ ముంబైలో బికాస్ ఇది ఇప్పుడు మొత్తం ఎంటైర్ వరల్డ్కి న్యూయార్క్ సిటీ అంటే ఇంకా అందరూ బాగా టూరిజం మొత్తం ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్, హోటల్స్, ఫుడ్ అంతా ఇదంతా మొత్తం అన్ని. సో ఇట్స్ a very big city and a very costly city, too much. So అదే ద సబ్వే కండక్టర్, సబ్వే మీన్స్ ఇది మెట్రో కండక్టర్ అనమాట, మెట్రో మన భాషలో. సబ్వే కండక్టర్ who had met Prabhupada on a Manhattan park bench in 1965 had noted, he seemed to know that he would have temples filled up with devotees. There are temples and books, he said. They are existing, they are there, but the time is separating us from them. అంటే అతను ఊహించింది అనమాట, ఈ స్వామి ఆల్రెడీ ఉన్నాడు అని చెప్పి, ఇక్కడికి వెళ్తాడు అని. The first purpose mentioned in the charter was propagation. Preaching was a word Prabhupada most often used. For him, preaching had a much broader significance than mere sermonizing. Preaching meant glorious, selfless adventures on behalf of the Supreme Lord. Lord Chaitanya had preached by walking all over southern India and causing thousands of people to chant and dance with him in ecstasy. Lord Krishna had preached the Bhagavad Gita while standing with Arjuna in his chariot on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Lord Buddha had preached, Lord Jesus had preached, and all pure devotees preach. ISKCON's preaching would achieve what the League of Nations and the United Nations had failed to achieve. What the League of Nations, G4, G5, G12 అట్లాంటివి ఉంటాయి కదా, అట్లా ఆ నేషన్స్ అండ్
లీగ్ ఆఫ్ నేషన్స్ అంటే ప్రభు అవి మనకి ఫస్ట్ వరల్డ్ వార్ తర్వాత టిల్ సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ మనకి ఇప్పుడు యునైటెడ్ నేషన్స్ ఎట్లా ఉంది, అర్లియర్ లీగ్ ఆఫ్ నేషన్స్ ఉండేదన్నమాట. అది పడిపోయినాక అంటే హిట్లర్ వల్ల అది మొత్తం పడిపోయింది, నాశనం అయిపోయింది. It has got completely destroyed by Hitler and those people. So the purpose is not solved. So then after Second World War again they came up with the concept of United Nations.
Yes,
so League of Nations is also the same like United Nations what we have now.
Yeah.
Means Prabhupada was initially inspired by that name. So that's why he kept as League of Devotees. And that also did success. So this name itself, the League of something will never work actually.
But still internal wars are happening, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, that is always there, Mataji. But in some extent, this ILO, International Labour Organization, UNRWA, they're at least still functioning. Na? World Bank is functioning. So at least things are going on at least. Of course, that will always be there. War will always be there. But as a whole, if something happens, some war happens, all the world will go there and then, tell them to stop, right? So United Nations, in some way, it is working. In some many ways, it is not working also. That is the other thing. But at least not like a League of Nations.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. And the United Nations had failed to achieve real unity and peace in the world. ISKCON workers would bring peace to a world deeply afflicted by materialism and strife. They would systematically propagate spiritual knowledge of the non-sectarian science of God. It was not that a new religion was being born in July of 1966. Rather, the eternal preaching of Godhead, known as Sankirtana, was being transplanted from east to west. The society's members would join together, and by hearing the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, they would come to realize that each was a spirit soul, eternally related to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They would then preach this to humanity at large, especially through Sankirtana, the chanting of the holy name of God. ISKCON would also erect a holy place of transcendental pastimes and dedicate it to the personality of Krishna. Was this something beyond the storefront? Yes, certainly. He never thought small. He seemed to know that he would have temples filled up with devotees. Reebol. Somebody join, let me ask. Swapna Mataji, okay. Hare Krishna Mataji, you start reading from here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Continue.
He wanted ISKCON to demonstrate a simple, more natural way of life. Such a life, Prabhupada thought of the villages of India, where people lived just as Krishna had lived, was most conducive to developing Krishna consciousness. And all the six of these purposes would be achieved by the seventh. ISKCON would publish and distribute literature. This was the special instruction Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura had given to Srila Prabhupada. He had specifically told him one day in 1932 at Radha Kunda in Vrindavana, if you ever get any money, publish books. Certainly, none of the signers saw any immediate shape to the Swami's dream. Yet these 7 purposes were not simply theistic heroic invented to convince a few New York State government officials. Prabhupada meant to enact every item in the charter. Of course, he was now working in extremely limited circumstances. The principal place of worship, located at 26 Second Avenue in the city, county, and state of New York, was the sole headquarters for the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Yet Prabhupada insisted that he was not living at 22nd Second Avenue, New York City. His vision was transcendental. His Guru Maharaj had gone out from the transcendental holy places of spiritual meditation to preach in cities like Calcutta, Mumbai, and Delhi. And yet Prabhupada would say that his spiritual master had not really been living in any of those cities, but was always in Vaikunta, the spiritual world, because of his absorption in devotional service. Similarly, the place of worship, 26th Second Avenue, was not a new storefront, a former curiosity shop. The storefront and the apartment had been spiritualized and were now a transcendental heaven. Society at large could come here. The whole world could take shelter here, regardless of race or religion, plain, small, and impoverished as it was. Prabhupada regarded the storefront as a holy place of transcendental pastimes, dedicated to the personality of Krishna. It was a world headquarters, a publishing house, a sacred place of pilgrimage, and a center from which an army of devotees could issue forth and chant the holy names of the God in all the states of in the world. The entire universe could receive Krishna consciousness from the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, which was beginning here. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mata. Thank you, Mata. There was a Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada disciple. His name was Mukunda Goswami Maharaj. He has written one book actually, 26 Second Avenue Miracles. How it happened, what institution is taken place, what are the miracles, how one by one joined. So nicely explained in that book, Mukunda Goswami Maharaj, 26 Second Avenue Miracles. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So Vani Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, please continue, Mataji. Next, I will give Lavanya just to take over. Okay,
Okay, Prabhuji. In Keith, Prabhupada had a serious follower. Within a week of their meeting, Keith had moved out of the Mott Street apartment and was living with Prabhupada. He still dressed in his rag denim shorts and t-shirt, but he began to do all the Swami's shopping and cooking. While in India, Keith had learned some of the etiquette of reverence towards a holy man and the principles of discipleship. His friends watched him curiously as he dedicated himself to the Swami. Keith, I saw that he was cooking, so I asked him if I could help, and he was very happy at the suggestion. The first couple of times, he took me shopping, and after that, I mostly did it. He showed me how to make chapatis without a rolling pin by pressing out the dough with your fingers. Every day, we would make chapatis, rice, dal, and curries. Should I continue?
Continue.
So Keith becomes the dependable cook and housekeeper in Prabhupada's apartment. Meanwhile, at the Mott Street apartment, the roommate's favorite topic for discussion was the relationship with the Swami. Everyone thought it was a serious relationship. They knew Swamiji was Guru, and when they heard that he would be giving daily classes at 5 a.m. in his apartment, they were eager to attend. Keith, I used to walk along the Bowery and for the flowers and look for flowers for him. When there were no flowers, I would take a straw or some grass. I loved going over there in the morning. Howard. I would walk away very briskly over the Swamiji's chanting Hare Krishna, feeling better than ever before. Miraculously, the lower east side no longer looked drab. The sidewalls and buildings seemed to sparkle, and in the early morning, before the smoke set in, sky was red and golden.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mata, you can have over to.
Chuck.
You can continue. This such a, yeah. Okay, Mata. Yes, you all can read. I'm sharing here and dropping up. Okay.
Okay.
Lavanya,
So should I continue this Chuck one and stop it?
it's okay, Mata. I mean,
Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, copy చేసి ఇది ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేసి ఓపెన్ చేయమా. హరే కృష్ణ. హలో.
చేస్తున్నా 1 second.
Akincham Prabhu join. Okay. You start with Akincham Prabhu. Okay. So from the here. Search out. Chuck. Chuck space colon పెడితే ఆటోమేటిక్ వస్తుంది. ఓకే. యాక్చువల్గా నేను చదువుతున్నప్పుడే నువ్వు కూడా ల్యాప్టాప్ లో ఓపెన్ చేసుకొని రెడీగా ఉంచుకుంటే బెటర్ కదా.
yes పెడుతున్నా 1 second.
చెప్తున్నా. I know you like to touch the book and read and understand, but
అయిపోయింది చూడండి
అది ఉండే అది అట్లా. బట్ ఎనీవే ఓకే, ఐఎమ్ మేకింగ్ యూ హోస్ట్ అండ్ యూ కంటిన్యూ. ఓకే. థ్యాంక్ యూ డివోటీస్. అగైన్ దండవత్ ప్రణామ్స్. పంచాకల్పతరుభ్యశ్చ కృపా సింధుభ్యవ చ పతితానాం పావనేభ్యో వైష్ణవేభ్యో నమః. Please continue until 9:20, 9:15 or 9:20 along with the recitations. Bhakti Shastri, whether they join or not join, at least we remember those verses. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Akincham Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, me read Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So I brought a few grapes and came to the door of the Swami. This was all new. Previously, I would always walk towards MacDougall. Yeah, MacDowell Street towards Bohemia, aesthetic New York, and now I was walking to the Lower East Side towards the business district, where there were no freaks, artists, or musicians, but simply straight buildings. And somehow, outside the carnival atmosphere, there was a richest attraction for the senses and the heart. Howard. I would sing all the way to the foyer, then ring the buzzer marked AC Bhaktivedanta Swami, and the door would buzz and open, and I would walk through the hallway into the small patio and up to his small second floor apartment, tiptoeing quietly so as not to wake up the neighbors. Sure. I came into the hall of his building, and there were many names printed on the plaques over the mailboxes. I immediately found the name A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, handwritten on the slip of torn paper, slipped into one of the slots. I rang the buzzer and waited. After a few moments, the door buzzed loudly, and I entered through the security lock. I walked through the small garden into the rear building and upstairs. Prabhupada held his classes for almost 2 months in the privacy of his room, the same room which he typed and talked to the guests. To Keith, it was not simply a class in philosophy, but a mystical experience of sweetness. Keith, the sound of his voice, the sun coming up, we would chant for the few minutes softly, chapping hands, and Swamiji's would would speak. The thing that got me most was simply the sound of the voice, especially while he was chanting Sanskrit. It was like music to my ears to hear him speak to the raw sound. So as not to disturb the neighbors, Prabhupada would say, chant softly, and he asked the boys to clap softly, so softly that their hands barely touched. Then he would chant the prayers to the spiritual master, Samsara Dava, Samsara Davana Nalanila Loka. The spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy. Just the cloud pours water on the forest fire to extinguish it, so the spiritual master extinguishes the blazing fire of material existence. With his eyes closed, he sat singing softly in the dim morning light. The few who attended Keith Howard, Chuck, Steve Valley sat entranced. Yeah, never before had the Swami been so appreciated.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Bhakti.
Yeah,
Hare
thank
Krishna.
you. Yeah, Swapna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, you can read Mataji.
Yeah. Chuck, the Swami was sitting there, and in the mornings he would look not shiny and brilliant, but very withdrawn. He looked as if he could sit like a stone, maybe forever. His eyes were only two tiny slits of glistering light. He took out his cymbals and played lightly on the edge. 1, 2, 3. And he began to sing in a deep voice that was almost atonal in its intervals. It was a melody monotone that did not express happiness or sadness, a timeless chant that told no story. We chanted along with him as best we could, but several times Swamiji stopped and said softly, after about 30 minutes of chanting, we stopped. Then he opened his eyes wider and said, we must chant softly because sometimes the neighbors are complaining. After singing, the Swami would give one of the boys a copy of Dr. Radhakrishnan's edition of Bhagavad Gita to read aloud from. He would correct their mispronunciations and then explain each verse. Because there were only a few people present, there was always ample time for everyone to discuss the philosophy. The class would sometimes run an hour and a half and cover 3 or 4 verses. Steve, Swamiji mentioned that mangoes were the king of all fruits, and he even mentioned that they were not easily available in this country. It occurred to me that I could bring him mangoes. There was a store on the First Avenue that always kept a stock of fresh mangoes in the cooler. I began a regular habit every day after getting off work. I would purchase one nice mango and bring it to Swamiji Valley. Some of the boys would say, I am doing this for the Swamiji. So I went to him and said, is there something I can do for you? So he told me I could take notes in his class. The boys were sure that their service was Swamiji was spiritual, devotional service. By serving the spiritual master, who was a representative of Krishna, you were serving Krishna directly. Shall I stop here, Mataji?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Hare.
Yeah, Vani Mataji. Hare Krishna, Vani Mataji. One morning.
Mataji.
Chautara Mataji.
Shavita Mataji.
Yes, yes, Mani.
One morning, Prabhupada told Howard that he needed help in spreading the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Howard wanted to help, so he offered to type Swami's manuscript of Srimad Bhagavatam. Howard, the first words of the verse read, "Oh, the king." And naturally, I wondered whether O was the king's name and the king stood in a position. After some time, I figured that O king was intended instead. I didn't make the correction without his permission. Yes, he said, change it then. I began to point out a few changes and inform him that if he wanted, I could make corrections, that I had the master's in English and taught last year at Ohio State. Oh, yes, Swamiji said, do it, put it nicely. He was giving them the idea of devotional service. A devotee may not be perfect in at first, he said, but if he is engaged in service, once the service has begun, he can be purified. Service is always there in the material world or the spiritual. But service in the material world could not bring satisfaction to the self. Only bhakti, purified service rendered to Krishna, could do that. And the best way to serve Krishna was to serve the representative of Krishna.
Continue,
Next
Mataji. Yeah, continue.
They picked up quickly. It was something you could do easily. It was not difficult like meditation. It was activity. You did something, but you did it for Krishna. They had seen Swamiji respond to the Bauri bum who had come with a gift of toilet paper. Just see, Swamiji had said, he is not in order, but he thought, let me give some service. But service had to be done voluntarily, out of love, not by force. Valley. Swamiji once asked me, do you think you could wear the Vaishnava Tilaka when you are on the streets? I said, well, I would feel funny doing it, but if you want me to, I will. And Swamiji said, no, I don't ask you to do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Steve, one day when I bought my daily mango to him, he was in the room surrounded by devotees. I gave him my mango and sat down. And he said, very good boy. The way he said it, as if I were just a tiny little boy, made everyone in the room laugh. And I felt foolish. Swamiji, however, then changed their mood by saying, no, this is actually love. This is Krishna consciousness. And then they didn't laugh. When Howard first volunteered to do editing, he spent the whole morning working in Swamiji's room. If there is any more typing, Howard said, let me know. I could take it back to Mott Street and type there. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. ఇది కూడా కంప్లీట్ చేయండి మాతాజీ.
More. There's lots more, Swamiji said. He opened the closet and pulled out 2 large bundles of manuscripts tied in saffron cloth. There were thousands of pages, single-spaced manuscripts of Prabhupada's translation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Howard stood before them, astonished. It's a lifetime of typing, he said. And Prabhupada smiled and said, oh yes, many lifetimes.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lalit Mohan Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, highlight your content.
Yeah, sure. Because of Prabhupada's presence and the words that he spoke there and the kirtanas, everyone was already referring to the storefront as the temple. But still, it was just a bare, squalid storefront. The inspiration to decorate the place came from the Mott Street boys. Howard, Keith, and Valley devised a scheme to surprise the Swami when he came to the evening kirtan. Valley removed the curtains from their apartment, took them to the laundromat, where they turned the water dark brown from filth, and then dyed them purple. The Mott Street apartment was decorated with posters, paintings, and large decorative silk hangings that Howard and Keith had bought back from India. The boys gathered up all the pictures, tapestries, incense burners, and other paraphernalia and took them, along with the purple curtains, to the storefront, where they began their day of decorating. At the storefront, the boys constructed a wooden platform for Prabhupada to sit on and covered it with old velvet cloth. Behind the platform, on the rear wall, between 2 windows to the courtyard, they hung the purple curtains. flanked by a pair of orange ones. Against one orange panel, just above Swamiji's sitting place, they hung a large original painting of Radha and Krishna on a circular canvas that James Green had done. Prabhupada had commissioned James, giving him dust jacket from his Srimad Bhagavatam, which with its crude Indian drawing as a model. The figures of Radha and Krishna were somewhat abstract, but the Lower East Side critics who frequented the storefront hailed the work as a wonderful achievement. Thank you, Mataji.
Continue, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keith and Howard were less confident that Prabhupada would approve of their paintings and prints from India. So they hung them near the street side of the temple, away from Swamiji's seat. One of these prints, well known in India, was of Hanuman carrying a mountain through the sky to Lord Ramachandra. The boys had no idea what kind of being Hanuman was. They thought perhaps he was a cat because of the shape of his upper lip. And then there was a picture of male person with 6 arms. 2 arms painted greenish, held a bow and arrow, another pair bluish, held a flute, and the third pair golden, held a stick and bowl. By late afternoon, they had covered the sitting platform, hung the curtains, tacked up the decorative silks and prints, and hung the paintings, and were decorating the dais with flowers and candlesticks. Someone bought a pillow for Swami to sit on, and a faded cushion from an overstuffed chair for the backrest. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Mm. Yeah. Akinchan, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah. The secret was well kept, and the boys waited to see Swamiji's response. That night, when he walked into begin the kirtan, he looked at the newly decorated temple. There were even incense burning, and he raised his eyebrows in satisfaction. "You are advancing," he said as he looked around this room, smilingly broadly. "Yes," he added, "this is the Krishna consciousness." His sudden happy mood seemed almost like their reward for their earnest labors. He then stepped up on the platform, while the boys held their breaths, hoping it would be sturdy, and he sat looking out at the devotees and the decorations. They had pleased him, but he now assured a future. He assumed a future of extreme gravity, and through they knew he was certainly the same Swamiji. Their tittering stuck in their thoughts, and their happy glances to each other suddenly abated in uncertainty and nervousness. As they regarded Swamiji's gravity, their joy of few moments before seemed suddenly childish. As a cloud quickly covers the sun like a dark shade, Prabhupada changed his mood from jolly to the grave, and they spontaneously resolved to become equally grave and sober. He picked up the kartals and again smiled a ray of appreciation, and their hearts beamed back. Yes,
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you. The temple was still a tiny storefront with many hidden and unhidden cockroaches, a tilted floor, and poor lighting. But because of many of the decorations were from the India, it had an authentic atmosphere, especially with Swamiji present on the dais. Now guest who entered was suddenly in a little Indian temple. My grand. I came one evening and all of a sudden there were carpets on the floor, pictures on the wall, and paintings. Just all of a sudden it had blossomed and was full of people. I was amazed how, in just a matter of days, people had brought so many wonderful things. When I came that evening and saw how it had been decorated, then I was not so much worried that he was going to make it. I thought it was really beginning to take hold now. Prabhupada looked at his group of followers. He was moved by their offering him a seat of honor and their attempts at decorating Krishna's storefront. To see a devotee make an offering to Krishna was not new for him, but this was new. In New York, this horrible place, the seed of bhakti was growing, and naturally, as the gardener of that tender sprout, he was touched by Krishna's mercy. Glancing at the pictures on the wall, he said, "Tomorrow I will come, look at the pictures and tell you which are good." The next day, Prabhupada came down to appraise the New York on display. One framed watercolor painting was of a man playing a drum while a girl dancing. "This one is all right," he said. But another painting of a woman was more mundane, and he said, "No, this painting is not so good." He walked to the back of the temple, followed anxiously by Howard, Keith, and Valley. When he came upon the painting of the six-armed person, he said, "Oh, this is very nice." "Who is it?" Valley asked. "This is Lord Chaitanya," Prabhupada replied. "Why does he have 6 arms?" "Because he showed himself to be both Rama and Krishna. These are the arms of Rama and these are the arms of Krishna." What are the other arms what are the other 2 arms?" Keith asked. "Those are the arms of a sannyasi." He went to the next picture. "This is also very nice. Who is it?" Howard asked. "This is Hanuman." "Is he a cat?" "No," Prabhupada replied. "This is monkey." Sorry, he is a monkey. Hanuman is glorified in the scripture Ramayana as a valiant, faithful servant of Lord Ramachandra. Millions of Indians worship the incarnation of Lord Ramachandra and his servitor Hanuman, whose exploits are perennially exhibited in the theatre, cinema, art, and temple worship. In not knowing who Hanuman was, the Mott Street boys were no less ignorant than the old ladies uptown who, when Prabhupada had asked whether any of them had seen a picture of Krishna, had all stared blankly. The Lower East Side mystics did not know Hanuman from a cat, and they had brought back from their hashish version of India a picture of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without even knowing who he was. Yet there was an important difference between these boys and the ladies uptown. The boys they were through with material life and the middle class work reward syndrome. Their hearts had awakened to Swamiji's promise of expanded Krishna consciousness, and they sensed in his personal company something exalted, like the Bowery bum who had donated toilet paper during Prabhupada's lecture. The Lower East Side boys did not have their minds quite in order, and yet Prabhupada saw it. Krishna was guiding them from within their hearts. Prabhupada knew they would change for the better by chanting and hearing about Krishna. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhujis and Matajis. We will start sloka recitation. Are you able to see Prabhujis and Matajis? Shlokas?
No, Mataji, not yet.
Just a second. Are you able to see Prabhujis and Matajis? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, now we are able to see.
Yes, yes. So whoever doing Bhakti Shastri, they can do shlokas and translation. After Prabhuji is done, then we will do only shlokas. మాధవి మాతాజీ ఒకసారి పోస్ట్ చేస్తారా గ్రూప్ లో?
చేసింది మాతాజీ ఆల్రెడీ.
చేశారా ఆల్రెడీ?
ఆ.
సో ఓన్లీ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ అండ్ చంద్రమౌళి ప్రభుజీ, స్వప్న మాతాజీ లేదు. ఓకే, యా ప్రభుజీ మీరు ఒకసారి చేయండి ప్రభుజీ. సో దట్
నేను ఓన్లీ శ్లోకాస్ చేస్తాను మాతాజీ. ఐ డూ
Yes,
ఓన్లీ
yes,
శ్లోకాస్
Prabhuji.
మాతాజీ.
yes
Whoever
ప్రభుజీ.
is having that Bhakti Shastri can do both. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
correct.
सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रताः नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते यान्ति देवा व्रता देवान् पितॄन्यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपाहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोसि ददासि यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत् कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां भूढा भाव समान्वितः तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन माम् उपयान्ति ते. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you Prabhuji. Yeah, Madhavi Mataji, Chandramouli Prabhuji next. Yeah, okay. Srini.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah,
Bhagavad
Madhavi
Gita
Mataji, let's start చేయండి along with the translation. Okay.
చేయమని.
Okay, Mataji. Bhagavad Gita 9.14. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dhrudavratah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Bhagavad Gita 9.25. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrun yanta pitruvratah bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti madhya jinopi mam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such things. And those who worship me will live with me. Bhagavad Gita 9.26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupahritam asnami prayatatmanaha. Bhagavad Gita 9. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Yat karosi yadasnasi yajjuhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurusva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever ashtrays you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offer to me, as an offering to me. Bhagavad Gita 9.29. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name devasyosti na priyaha ya bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapyaham. I envy no one
Dvesha
nor I
Prabhuji,
am.
adi Dvesha.
Okay. I envy no one nor I am partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावा समान्वितः. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perpetually knows this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their effort, with all their hearts. Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Thank you,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. Yeah, you can do, Mataji.
Then
Yeah.
Sloka recitation. Bhagavad Gita 9.1. Tatatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya drudavrata namasyantasya mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Translation. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination and bowing down before me, those great souls are always perpetually worshipping with devotion. Bhagavad Gita 9.25. Yanti deva vrata devan kitun yanti kittu vrata bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti mat ajinopi mam. Translation. Those who are worshipping the demigod, they take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors, they go to the ancestors, and those who worship the ghosts or spirits, they take birth among the living beings. But those who worship me with love, they will live with me. Bhagavad Gita 9.26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktya upakrutam asnami pretatmanaha. Translation. If one offers a leaf, flavor, fruit or water, I will with devotion and love, I will accept it. Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Yat karoshi yad asnasi yad juhosi dadasi yad tapashyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Translation. Whatever you are doing, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, but whatever austerity you are performing, O Kaunteya, do that, son of Kunti, but as an offering to me. Bhagavad Gita 9.29. Tamoham sarva bhuteshu nameteshosti na priyaha ya bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maiteteshu chapyaham. Translation. I'm not envy to anybody. I'm not partial to anyone. I'm equal to all. And whoever renders in service unto me with a devotion is a friend. And I am also is in me. I am also a friend to him. Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhavu matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam budabhava samanvitaha. Translation. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The intelligent who knows, or the wise person, those who knows about this, they always engaged in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts and love. Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yena mam upayanti te. Translation. To those who are serving me with love, like who are continuously devoted to serving me with love, I make them to understand the way by which they can come to me. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. Nice recitation and along with meaning. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Surendra
so much.
Prabhuji? Yeah, Hare Krishna. Surendra Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavata.
Yeah, then
Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya Nityayukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitran yanti pitravrata, bhutani yanti bhutejya, yanti madhyajinopi mam. Those who worship the demigod will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahritam asnami prayetam manaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Yat karoshi yadasnasi, yajjuhosi tadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Samoham sarvabhuteshu न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ते तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders services unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadadi buddhi yogam tam yena mam payanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for nice recitation. Lakshmikant Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. Yeah, you can go on.
Bhagavad Gita 9.14. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavritha namastasya cha
Lalit
guru
Mohan Prabhuji,
bhaktya.
Hare Krishna.
ఎస్ మాతాజీ.
కొంచెం హెల్ప్ చేయరా ప్రభుజీకి? హరే కృష్ణ. చూస్
ప్రభుజీ ఒక్కొక్క లైన్ నేను చదువుతాను, మీరు చదవగలరా?
Yes, please.
లేకపోతే మీరు చేశాక నేను చదవమంటారా, చెప్పమంటారా?
Yes, Prabhu. నేను చేసాక ఒకసారి చెప్తారా ప్లీజ్?
అలాగే చేయండి.
సతతం కీర్తయంతో 9.14. సతతం కీర్తయంతో మాం యతంతశ్చ దృఢావృతా నమస్యంతశ్చ మాం భక్త్యా నిత్యయుక్త ఉపాసతే.
ప్రభుజీ సెకండ్ లైన్
Always-
యతంతశ్చ
యతంతశ్చ దృఢావృత.
మూడో థర్డ్ లైన్ నమస్యంతశ్చ నమస్యన్ అనండి.
నమస్యంతశ్చ నమస్యంతశ్చ మాం భక్త్య నమస్తస్యంచ మాం భక్త.
నమస్యంతశ్చ
నమస్యంతశ్చ మాం భక్త్య.
ఇప్పుడు ఒకసారి మొత్తం శ్లోకం చదవండి ప్రభు.
సతతం కీర్తయంతో మాం యతంతశ్చ దృఢావృత నమస్యంతశ్చ मां भक्त्या नित्या युक्ता उपासते.
పర్ఫెక్ట్ ప్రభు. ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి సరే.
Sure. Translation: always chanting my glories, endeavoring the great determination, moving down before me, those great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. 9.25 yanti deva vratar devan priti pitrin yanti pitra vrataah bhutani yanti bhujante yanti mat yajino pimam.
యా ప్రభు. సెకండ్ లైన్ పితృన్ యాంతి పితృవ్రతాః.
pitrin yanti pitravrata. pitrin yanti
థర్డ్ లైన్ లో లాస్ట్
pitravrata.
వర్డ్. థర్డ్ లైన్ లో లాస్ట్ వర్డ్ భూతేజ్య భూతాని యాంతి భూతేజ్య.
Bhutani yanti bhutejya.
తేజ్య
Bhutani
భూతేజ్య. ఓకే.
yeah.
భూతాని యాంతి భూతేజ్య. ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ శ్లోక చేయండి ప్రభు మొత్తం.
Yanti deva vrata devan pitrin yanti pitravrata. Bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti matyajino pimam.
యాంతి మధ్యాజినోపి మాం. యా
Yanti
తర్వాత
madhya
స్పేస్ తీసుకోవాలి.
yanti matyajino pimam.
అంతే ప్రభు. పర్ఫెక్ట్.
Translation: those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship with ancestors to go to the ancestors. Those who worship with ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me. 9.26 Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhakta prayakshati tadaham bhaktya upahartam స్నామి ప్రయత్నాత్మనః.
థర్డ్ లైన్ ఒకసారి చదవండి ప్రభు మళ్ళీ.
తదహం భక్తి ఉపహారృతం.
తదహం భక్త్య ఉపాహృతం.
తదహం భక్త్యా ఉపహారృతం.
ఉపాహృతం.
ఉపాహృతం. పత్రం పుష్పం ఫలం తోయం యో మే భక్త ప్రేక్షతి తదహం భక్త్యా ఉపాహృతం అస్నామి ప్రయతాత్మనః. అస్నామి ప్రయతాత్మనః.
అస్నామి ప్రయత ఆత్మనః. ఓకే. Yes,
If
you can go
one
with the
offers
translation.
if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a water, I will accept it. Bhagavad Gita 9.27 Yad karoshi yad anasi yad johoshi tadasi yad tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurusva madarpanam.
ఫస్ట్ లైన్ ఒకసారి చదవండి ప్రభు మళ్ళీ.
యత్ కరోషి యద్ అనాసి
అశ్నాసి ప్రభు. అశ్నాసి.
యత్ కరోషి యద్ అస్నాసి యద్ జహోషి దదాసి యత్ తపస్యాసి కౌంతేయ తత్ కురుస్వ మదార్పణం.
Yes, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
Translation: whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as a offering to me. 9.29 Sammoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyo stiti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mahi तेषु कपि अहं
ఒకసారి నాతో చదవండి ప్రభు.
Please,
సెకండ్ లైన్
Prabhu.
ఒకసారి చదవండి. నమే ద్వేష్యో అస్తి నా ప్రియః
न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रयाः
నమే ద్వేష్యో అస్తి నా ప్రియః
न मे द्वेष्यो अस्ति न प्रियः
ద్వేష్య అస్తి నా ప్రియః. ఓకేనా?
द्वेष्य अस्ति न प्रियः Prabhuji.
ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या
ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या
मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्.
मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्
మయి తే తేషు చాప్యహం. ఓకే ప్రభుజీ, చదవండి ప్రభు, ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ చేయండి.
सम्मोहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्यो न मे द्वेषो अस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्.
ఎస్ ప్రభు, గో హెడ్.
Yeah. Translation to I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whomever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. 10 Bhagavad Gita 10.8 हम सर्वस्य प्रभु मत्ता सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावा समन्विता. Translation: I am the source of all the spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. 10.10 तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तां येन माम् उपयन्ते. Translation: to those who are certainly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Sorry.
ఇట్స్ సర్టన్లీ కాదు, ఇది కాన్స్టాంట్లీ, సతతం. ఇక్కడ సతతం ఉంది కదా, సో కాన్స్టాంట్లీ.
Constant. Yes, ma'am.
యా, సతతం అంటే కాన్స్టాంట్లీ. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ ప్రభుజీ.
Thank you.
వాణి మాతాజీ, హరే కృష్ణ. హరే కృష్ణ, వాణి మాతాజీ.
మాతాజీ చేస్తున్నా.
చదువుతారా? లాస్ట్ లో చదువుతారా?
యా చేస్తా మాతాజీ. నాకు ఇది సరిగ్గా రాలేదు, సో ఐ వాంట్ టు ప్రాక్టీస్.
శ్లోకాస్ యు కెన్ డు.
ఓకే మాతాజీ. సతతం కీర్తయంతో మాం యతంతశ్చ ధృతభృతః నమస్యాంత్యశ్చ మాం భక్త్యా నిత్యయుక్తా ఉపాసతే. యాంతి దేవవృతా దేవాన్ పితృయాంతి పితృవ్రతః భూతాని యాంతి భూతేజ్య యాంతి మం యాజినోపి మాం. పత్రం పుష్పం ఫలం తోయం యో మే భక్త్యా ప్రయశ్యతి తదహం భక్త్యా ఉపహృతం అశ్నామి ప్రయతాత్మనః. యత్ కరోసి యత్ అశ్నాసి యత్ జుహోసి దదాసి యత్ తపస్యాసి కౌంతేయ తత్ కురుష్వ మదర్పణం. సమోహం సర్వభూతేషు న మే ద్వేషోస్తి న ప్రియః యా భజంతి తు మాం భక్త్యా మయి తే తేషు చాప్యహం. అహం సర్వస్య ప్రభవో మత్తా సర్వం ప్రవర్తతే ఇతి మత్వా భజంతే మాం బుద్ధా భావ సమన్వితః. బుద్ధే కదా, మీరు నేను కూడా ఇదే చెప్పినట్టున్నారు.
బూఢా భావ సమన్విత.
ఓకే, బూఢా భావ సమన్వితః. तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतं प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं त्वं येन माम् उपयान्ति ते. Thank you. Thank you both of you, Prabhuji Mataji.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna, Mataji. Can I recite Mataji?
Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita 9.14. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavratah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Bhagavad Gita 9.25. Yanti deva vrata devam पितृन्यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति मद्याजिनो अपि माम्. Bhagavad Gita 9.26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktya upahritam ashnami prayatatmanah. Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Yat karoshi yadadnashi yajjuhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurusva madarpanam. Bhagavad Gita 9.29. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapyaham. Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah. Srini,
Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
yeah, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, are you doing Bhakti Shastri?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the shlokas, Prabhuji, or you want some help from Lalit Mohan?
I know shlokas, Prabhuji. I practiced it. I just want to see if I'm reciting right or not.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. BG 9.14. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatansansya duravrata namasyancha mam bhakta nitya yukta upasate. Translation. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. 9.25. Yanti deva vrata devan pitru yanti pritruvrata bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhyaji yanti mat yajnopi mam. 9. Translation. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestor will go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those worship me will live with me. BG 9.26. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhakta prayachati tadaham bhakta upakratam asnami prayatnatmana. Translation. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I'll accept it. 9.27. Yat karosi yat asnasi yat juhosi dadati yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurusva mat arpanam. Translation. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever asceries you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as offering to me. 9.29. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshastu na priya ye bhajanti tu mam bhakta maite tesu chapyaham. Translation. I envy no one, nor I am partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in a devotion is a friend. He is in me, and I am also friend to him. 10.8. Aham sarvasva prabhavo mattam sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. 10.10. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Translation: Those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Nice recitation. Akinjan Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Akinjan Priya Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, నేను రోడ్ పైన అన్నమాట.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I'll do and we'll wrap up. Bhagavad Gita 9.14. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya judavrata namasyantasya mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate yanti deva vrata devan pitrun yanti pitruvrata bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhyajino apimam patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati तदहं भक्त्युपाहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः यत्करोषि यत् अश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रिया ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावा समन्विता तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Thank you for joining today's call for reading and shloka recitation.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu.
Vancha kalpataruphya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रील गुरुदेव की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसडेंटल बुक रीडिंग की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद लीलामृता की जय. Bhakti Shastri Shlokas ki jai. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare